Good afternoon and welcome to the channel. I'm John Daga, your host, and with me as always is Johnny. So it's kind of late in the day, Johnny. It's really hot outside, so we're going to start here in the building where it's air conditioned.
Nice.
And this is the second in our three-part series on Daytona. So let's talk about Daytona for a minute. Before there were cars named Daytona, there was a town in Florida named Daytona. And Daytona was actually named for a gentleman named Mathis Day Jr. And he bought a bunch of land and he put up a hotel. So he was kind of the de facto founder of Daytona. Now, I always thought Daytona was a Native American name, much like the town I live in. I live in Loxahatchee, and that's River Turtles. So Mathis Day, he fell on hard times. He lost his hotel, he lost his land, but the people of Daytona still named the city after him. And at one point, there were 4 towns that became mirrored under Daytona Beach. So let's talk about Daytona Beach for a second, racing. So we have the Daytona International Speedway now, but before that, they literally raced on the beach. They would go north on the beach, on the sand, hard-packed sand at Daytona. They would get to what they call the north turn at the end where A1A and the beach come together, and then they'd peel off onto A1A and they'd race down A1A and back onto the beach. And that was the original speedway. That was until Bill France founded NASCAR and they built the Daytona International Speedway. Now, we talked about the Dodge Charger Daytona, and that was a car purpose-built for the speedway, but there's also a road course at Daytona. So they always had the 24 Hours of Daytona, which was on the road course. It's now called the Rolex, or the 24-hour Rolex, which is the race at Daytona. It's on the road course. And speaking of Rolex, there's one more thing named Daytona. It's the Rolex Daytona, Johnny. 40 millimeter face, three dial chronograph, perpetual ocean. No,
I was going to say fancy.
Souvenir watch from the Caribbean. So we're going to talk about this car for a little bit. This is a 1971 Ferrari Daytona. But the word Daytona wasn't a name that Ferrari gave the car. It's really the 365 GTB 4. Daytona is a moniker that the press laid on it, because in 1967, Ferrari swept the 24 Hours at Daytona with their P3 and P4 race cars. So why did the press name this car the Daytona when it didn't race at Daytona? We don't know. It just happened. So Ferrari never called this car the Daytona. Everybody else called it the Daytona. Ferrari didn't. Now, Ferrari does have a new car coming out. It's the Monza SP3. That is called the Daytona from Ferrari. Our car here, this is a triple platinum winning, Classic K certified, Red Book carrying, perfect, best of everything Ferrari Daytona. So we're going to give Johnny an opportunity here, and we're going to take a look. The Ferrari 365 GTB4 was manufactured between 1968 and 1973. The B stands for Berlinetta, and there was also a GTS version for Spiders. There were very few convertibles built. You'll see this is a 1971 model, and it has pop-up headlights. In 1971, Ferrari went across the board. All cars, regardless of delivery destination, received the pop-up headlights. Car is finished in black over tan, and you'll see that it says designed by Pininfarina. Pininfarina did the designs of the cars, but all the cars were built at Scaglietti Coachworks. You also notice the Campagnolo wheels and the 3-star spinner. Now, Johnny's really into interiors, given his craft, so we're going to take a look at the interior real quick. It's very, very specific to Daytona. This was very popular, and some of the traits of it did carry over into the Dinos. The sport seats with the two-tone, got some luggage straps back there, gated dog leg shifter. Car does have AM/FM, or actually it's got some shortwave radio in it, is equipped with air conditioning. And you'll notice that all the gauges are metric because this was originally a Euro delivered car. So Johnny loves the interior. You notice the headliner's even tuck and rolled. And we're heading back outside again. So under the hood, this is a 4.4 liter V12. It has 4 camshafts and 6 Weber carburetors. It produces 352 horsepower. The Daytona had a top speed of 280 kilometers per hour, which translates to about 174 miles per hour. You'll notice it's got a little winter-summer thing there on the air inlet, depending on the exterior temperature. If you've got a really sharp eye, you'll notice that's a Lucas generator or an alternator under the hood, as the Magneti Marelli one that we have for the car does not work great at idle, and this makes the car much more usable in town. You'll see the Fram filters with the correct logos. You'll see the hood struts with the correct stickers on it. Restoration type battery, pair of air horns under the hood, and that space blanket on the bottom of the hood is very Daytona specific. So as I started mentioning before, it's got Campagnolo wheels on it. They're cast aluminum, and you'll see that being a Euro delivered car, it has that 3-spoke spinner on it. Those were not allowed in the States. If a car was United States delivered, it would have a hex nut to remove the wheel, and you'd get a tool in the tool kit. You can see the Anza exhaust, because the Daytona was one of the first cars that Ferrari used Anza exhaust on instead of previous Abarths. And you'll see, very important for any Ferrari competition show car is the tool roll. Some of these tool rolls are valued at $35,000 or more. That's the correct pigskin with the owner's manual in it. And the jack is also in that bag. So it's a combination tool kit and jack bag. Some of the earlier cars had 2 separate kits. You see the amber turn signals, which again is Euro delivered. If it was American delivered, it'd have all red. And the dual reverse lights, where I believe the American delivered cars just had a single reverse light. There's no features like any kind of rear window defrosters or anything. Apparently Johnny likes the back end of the car. And I'm ready to move on, Johnny. There we go. You can see the rear silhouette of the car translating into the corners. It has a very, very short tail. That's the fuel filler there. Very long nose with that V12 under the hood. You'll see the amber turn signals in the front. Again, that's a Euro trait. And the wipers, if you notice, they're clap hand style wipers. It's a Ferrari through and through. V12 in the front, rear wheel drive, conventional transaxle. And this was one of the last V12 front engine cars. And as Enzo always said, the donkey pulls the cart. The donkey does not push the cart. All right, now it's time to go for a drive. But first, it's everybody's favorite. Watch the fat guy get in the Italian sports car.
That was a little too smooth.
I'm getting better. All right, Johnny. 1971 Ferrari 365 GTB 4. 12 cylinders, 4 camshafts, 6 carburetors. being a 71, this car has got a feature that a lot of the early Ferraris don't, and that's air conditioning. It is a factory AC unit. I don't know if it was installed on this side of the pond or in Italy. You've got 4 discharge vents up where the defroster should be. You've got the controls. It sort of works. I mean, it works properly, but the system's very undersized for the cabin. So if you're, you know, fooling around the south of France, it's a little warm or something, it's probably great. But South Florida, it's not as good as it could be. Very low on benzina there.
No, I know this car. We're good. We're good.
Well, one thing about the Daytona is that it has this very unique dash cover. It's a big deal. Another thing that's kind of Daytona-esque is these, you'll see the vent window latches, you'll never see anybody latch them. And that's because they're literally glued to the glass. And they won't pop off, so we try and, you know, leave them in this position so that they have a chance of survival. This car has excellent road feel, excellent drivability. This car is extremely well sorted, and I guarantee you that this car runs and drives better than the day it was built.
Good size back window.
Yeah, plenty of view from my rear view mirror here that's in my face. Typical Italian car though, no side view mirrors. Another thing I should note here is, you saw the video on the 330 GTC, you'll notice the dogleg gated shifter. Look, Johnny, I still got 2 more gears left.
Oh my.
Finest up on the left. Now these cars do not have power steering. In most cases it's unnecessary. It does have power brakes, so 4-wheel disc brake equipped. Being a Euro delivered car, you'll notice that all the gauges are in metric. So we have kilometers for speed, Celsius for temperature. Johnny, I'll tell you what, rather than going back to the ranch, go ahead and see if we can stretch her out a little bit.
Okay.
the traffic doesn't stop.
There we go. Still had 2 more gears. Johnny, of the vintage Ferraris we drive, I'm going to be honest with you. This is by far the absolute best car.
Yeah, definitely the best one. I could see myself driving this every day.
Yeah, this would be a nice company ride to and from the office.
Wink, wink.
Somehow I don't think the boss would be too keen on that. But we do appreciate him letting us borrow his car for a few minutes to share with you all.
All right.
So, that concludes the driving portion of our video. I'm stuck, Johnny.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, I didn't fall over either. So we hope you enjoyed our little video on the Ferrari GTB 4 Daytona. Not by Ferrari, but by the media and the people. So, if you enjoyed today's video, give it a like. If you want to see more cool videos or the 3rd part in our 3-part Daytona series, you got to subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one.